Oh, are you okay? Do I look okay to you? We both watched the same hockey game, right? Yeah, I know, it was bad, but it's just a game. No. Do not say it's just a game. That is the exact opposite of the best way to get out of this situation. I've got something for you. There isn't very much that'll make me feel better. I mean, unless we could go back in time and, replay the game and start on time, I don't really think there's anything that can make me happy. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I feel a little bit less bad now. 50% of the time, it works 100% of the time. Well, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but I gotta say it anyway. Golden Knights lose Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, Round 1, versus the Winnipeg Jets by a final score of 5-1. Yeah. So I'm not even entirely sure where to begin on this one. Obviously, the in-arena program is incredible, and the matchup was going to be tough. The Golden Knights really rolled out the red carpet for the Winnipeg Jets, welcoming them to the playoffs for what we thought would be a party out on Toshiba Plaza at the end of the game, and I guess the Jets had something different, and I guess you can really boil this game down to the first 3 minutes of the game. There was really good opportunities. Obviously, the Jets came out a little bit hard, and you knew as the underdog they were going to come out swinging, and honestly, good on them for starting the game in the way that they did. But there was a kind of a watershed moment, and it kind of got me flashing back to a game that happened about a month ago. It was about a month ago. It was a home game after a long road trip, and I believe it was in the first 5 minutes of the game. I think it was against the Kings. Braden McNabb came flying down the wing, hit the scary side of the crossbar, and went off in the corner, celebrated, thinking he scored. And then from that point on, the Golden Knights couldn't muster much of anything in terms of offense. When Michael Amadio hit that post about 3 minutes into the game and basically had Hellebuck beat just clean, I kind of started to wonder if that would be the kind of game that this would turn into. And lo and behold, unfortunately, that's the exact kind of game this turned into, as what was a pretty dominant Golden Knights team at times throughout this regular season, and especially in the last 2 or 3 games against Dallas and Seattle. There was a lot of potential offense, the prowess and the power and the promise of Mark Stone coming back, Zach Whitecloud coming back. And I know that messes up the lines a little bit, but the lack of offense was honestly kind of disturbing, especially in that first period with a team that has as much firepower as the 2022-23 Golden Knights. It was a little bit concerning. The only good thing to come out of the first period is the fact that it was still tied, and Laurent Brossoit had to work really, really hard to make sure the game stayed tied, making that crazy save about 4 minutes into the game, which wound up cutting one of the Winnipeg Jets players pretty badly across the face. But that was an incredible save, and honestly, the Golden Knights were very, very lucky that the game was tied after the first period. Do we really have to talk about anything from this point on? I'm even starting to feel bad, and I'm supposed to be glowing with optimism. No. We worked through the 5 stages of grief already. We've gotten to acceptance. It's just time to get over it. Yeah, no, he's right. It is time to, you got to rip the Band-Aid off and accept the fact that the last 40 minutes of that hockey game did in fact happen. The Golden Knights actually came out okay to start the second period, and while it wasn't great, it wasn't horrible until about 90 seconds in, when the Golden Knights did something that I haven't really done since mid-January, which is they had a stretch of 90 seconds where they forgot how to play hockey and got scored on twice. One of them leaving one of the elite players in the NHL alone in the slot, and the other is what happens when you have a bad line change in the second period and you leave Mark Stone, who hasn't played since January 12th, out on a back check. He's going to get blown by, and that's exactly what happened. And Golden Knights fans in the Fortress and at home blink, and the game is 2-0. And it kind of felt like all the air got sucked out of the building at that point. You couple that with a couple bad power plays in the middle of the second period. It's very fortunate that William Karlsson did net that goal on the Barbashev setup on a kind of partial breakaway to at least make it a game going into the second intermission. But you just had to know that something was off. The rhythm of the Golden Knights were off. The passes weren't connecting. The shots weren't landing. The neutral zone transitions were just so incredibly slow, and I had no idea that they were capable of playing this slow. One thing that did kind of bother me throughout the whole game is the fact that the Winnipeg Jets were very much picking on Mark Stone. Not going after his back with cross checks or anything, but they were just abusing the fact that he hasn't played in 4 months. They saw that he looked slow and indecisive and was hesitant to shoot, and they skated right at him. And so I kind of have to give credit where credit's due on that regard. And, that kind of came back to bite the Golden Knights in the third period as, they came out, it's a 1-goal deficit, got all the opportunities to make it up, and you give up a goal like 3 minutes into the third period, which if the air wasn't sucked out of the rink already, that sucked it out completely. And then you had that power play late in the third period around the 7 minutes to go mark that was woefully ineffective. And, then the empty netter, and then you take a penalty, and then Winnipeg scores their 5th goal to just completely blow the doors off the game, and everybody goes home upset with the Jets taking a 1-0 series lead. So what do we do as fans? Anybody got any ideas? Do we send Kolasar to run over Hellebuck, blow up his knees, and have to go big save David Riddick for the rest of the series? I don't think it's a bad idea. No. We're not Colorado against St. Louis. We don't have Naz and Kadri. So we can't do that. How about as fans, we just accept the fact that you can and often will lose game ones? Yeah, the sky is not falling on this series, and there is still plenty of hope. I saw a graphic on Twitter this morning, which basically says in so many words, the Golden Knights actually win more series when they lose game one than they've lost when they lost game one. A couple of big ones come to mind would be the Western Conference Final against the Winnipeg Jets, where we got embarrassed in game one. I think it was 4-1, 4-2, but it was never close. Or game one against the Minnesota Wild 2 years ago when we lost in overtime. I think it was 1-0. Or game one against the Colorado Avalanche that same year when we lost 7-1 in Ball Arena. We were down in that series 2-0. And that Golden Knights team was not as good as this Golden Knights team. And the Winnipeg Jets are not as good as that year's Colorado Avalanche. So there's plenty of room to make it up. What will be critically important for the Golden Knights is to make the adjustments. I am 1000% certain that Bruce Cassidy is not in any way, shape, or form happy with the way the Golden Knights played that game, with the way they played defense, with the way that they abandoned their game plan. The fact of the matter is, if the Golden Knights play Bruce Cassidy hockey, there's only 1 or 2 teams in the NHL that can beat them 4 out of 7 times, and they're both in the Eastern Conference. So if they're able to make the tweaks they need to today in practice and come out and play the game on Thursday night the way that they're supposed to, the way that they've been playing all year, the way that they were able to get to that franchise record in points, getting to 111 points, getting 51 or 52 wins, if they're able to play that way and not play Winnipeg Jets hockey, then there's absolutely no reason to worry. Obviously, as a fan, I'm a little upset that they kind of laid an egg on the first night of the postseason, and it is a little concerning, but all hope is not lost. As long as we get a split and are able to go to Winnipeg with the series tied at 1, Golden Knights are one of the best road teams in the Western Conference in the NHL as a whole. So to say that we'll be able to pick up at least one road win and get back to T-Mobile 2-2, turning the series into a best of 3, there's plenty of opportunities. So in summation, it sucks that the Golden Knights kind of got embarrassed on national television on a night that every single home team lost. And so the road team is 6-2 to start game ones of this postseason. Odds are water will find level. The Golden Knights are one of the best at adjusting. And I know they weren't able to make that adjustment. That's one game under the belt for Mark Stone. He should look a lot better on Thursday. Laurent Brossoit he shook off the jitters. He played very well, and we don't really know what we're getting out of Connor Hellebuck on the other side because we only put 2 shots on him in the third period when we were chasing the game. So clearly there was some part of the game plan that was just dramatically off, and I'm sure sometime in the film room we'll fix that. And so me as a fan, a very invested fan, is not worried yet. Now, if we go out and lose game 2 tomorrow night in the exact same fashion that we lost last night in game 1, then I'm going to be worried. But because this team is great at adapting with that playoff history, there's enough veterans in the room to not get rattled, to players that have been with the team when we lost game 1 to Winnipeg in the Western Conference Final. There's plenty of experience, and we've got a coach that knows what he's doing. We've got players that know what they're doing. We've got management that know what they're doing. We've got assistant coaches who are some of the smartest in the game. So there's nothing to worry about. Everything's going to be fine. It's temporarily sad, but assuming we make the adjustments they need to make, everything will be okay. And so, with being said, I'm definitely excited for Thursday. Game 2 is going to be really interesting, and the best bit of consolation is at least we didn't get embarrassed as badly as Toronto did against Tampa Bay. 5 goals, which was actually 3 plus 2 in garbage time, is a lot less embarrassing than giving up 7.
So I'm just gonna leave that there.
That being said, thank you for watching. I'm totally ready. Brace yourselves for Game 2 recap in about 36 hours from now. And hopefully the Golden Knights pull out a much better result in Game 2 against the Jets. I believe that game is 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and whatever that is in Pacific time. I can't do it in my head very quickly because I am slow. But ultimately, it's going to be a great push to playoffs. Hopefully Game 2 goes better. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Comment down below if you have some Golden Knights hate or some Golden Knights love. Subscribe if you really like the video. Like it. Tell all your friends about it. Feel free to throw this up on Twitter somewhere if I may not do that on my own. Got to get some publicity. Got to get out there. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.